This is the Backseat Mogul Show live here on Rough Edge FM. I am R. Scott Bolton. I am the Backseat Mogul, and this is the show where we talk about show business. Sitting to my, he's actually on my right, but it appears that he's on my left here. Anyway, Johnny D. Johnny D, good morning, sir.
Good morning, Scotty. How are you today?
I am so far so good, sir. I had we did a Good Friday Shot Day show yesterday. We celebrated champagne in honor of the new year. Had 4 different types of champagne that we sampled, and then we went over to see Dr. Shocker and Rosie at the Uni room, had a cocktail there, and came home and watched TV. It was a good night.
All right.
So, yeah, I'm excited because The Holdovers is finally on Peacock. So I've been wanting to see that. I meant to get out to the theaters and see it. I just didn't get a chance. That will be changing dramatically for me in about 30 days because I've only got 16 days of work left. And then that my last day is January 31st. And then, but there's holidays and there's vacation and there's weekends in there. So it comes down to about 16 days of actual work at the office now. Pretty interesting. It's going to be a different world for me. I'm going to spend hours writing every day. I'm going to spend more time here at the podcast studio. Things are going to be a little different.
So 16 days of actual work. What were you doing the past umpteen dozen years?
But you understand, John, that I said 16 days left of work. I didn't have my conversation said nothing about my previous work days.
I know.
I know you were trying to be funny.
Yeah.
And it just didn't work.
Well,
It was a noble attempt.
There's people rolling on
But
the floor.
there's
right
not.
now.
There's not.
I see
promise
them.
you.
Oh, that's
Listen,
weird.
we did Los Borrachos Playhouse yesterday on the Friday Shot Day show. That was terrible. And I at least I was man enough to realize it was a failure. So just, it was a noble effort,
Okay.
but it just didn't work.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
You're all right now? You see anything recently at the movies? So you don't tend to go to the movies.
Not recently. No, I haven't. And I think the last walk-in I actually went to was when you and I went to go see Killers of the Flower Moon.
That was a good movie. That was a great movie.
Long
Real
movie.
shot at winning Best Picture this year. Got a real shot at it. I saw Wonka, and as you know, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory is one of my very, very favorite movies. Gene Wilder can never, ever be beat. There will never be a Willy Wonka as good as Gene Wilder. Then there was Charlie and the Chocolate Factory with Johnny Depp. Not a fan. Didn't like the darkness that Tim Burton added to it. Even though Willy Wonka's got its dark scenes, that scene through the tunnel, if you think about it, is pretty freaking terrifying. But I just wasn't into the Johnny Depp version. It just didn't work for me. I thought Johnny Depp, even though he tried to give Willy Wonka some new flavor, it just didn't pan out for me. I just wasn't a fan. When I saw the trailers for Wonka, with Timothy Chalamet, whichever way it is, Timothy, I had hope because it looked to me like he nailed the Willy Wonka character. So Shelly and I went to the theater the other day and we plunked down our hard-earned cash and went in and watched Wonka at the little Regency Theater, our little local theater. It's a first run house, but the tickets are a little cheaper, and the popcorn and the sodas are a little cheaper.
What?
And it's a nice
hot dog.
I didn't want a hot dog for once. Thought about it, but there was none on the grill, which also tells me the first show of the day you're getting last night's leftovers.
Yeah,
that's what we did when we went to the movie theater. So I know that's how it probably works there. If not, then I'm wrong. But either way, the hot dogs there are really good. I just didn't get one that day. But we went in to see Willy Wonka, and it started, and I was instantly won over. It's just so much fun. It's so magical. It's so joyful. It's so full of love and good humor. And the story is a prequel to the Gene Wilder Willy Wonka movie. It tells the story of how Willy got his first chocolate shop. And he's this magic chocolatier who creates the best chocolate in the world. He goes to this place where these 3 other chocolatiers are holding court in a chocolate mall. and tries to open the store. Well, they don't want him to open a store because they know that his chocolate is way better than theirs, and it's gonna really hurt their businesses. So they try to stop him, and that's the basic story of Willy Wonka. But Wonka, I got to make sure you guys understand it's Wonka is the title of the movie. I got to tell you about the cast a little bit because, as I said, Timothée Chalamet was outstanding, and but the cast it's loaded with people who are big stars. For example, Olivia Colman is in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Oscar-winning Olivia Colman. That's a big deal. Also in the movie are I'm going through the list here. There's Olivia Colman, Keegan-Michael Key, who I just love. That guy is terrific, and he's hysterical in this movie as well. He's very funny, and of course, Hugh Grant plays the one and only Oompa Loompa in the movie.
Only one
Oompa Loompa in the movie. And the thing that's interesting about that is there's been all this talk about how Hugh Grant didn't like that role and he was sorry he did it and all this stuff. Have you ever heard Hugh Grant do an interview? He always talks very sarcastically.
Oh yeah.
And I'm sure that he was uncomfortable being in a suit. Well, what happened is the body of the Oompa Loompa is animated.
Mm-hmm.
And Hugh Grant's head is pasted onto that animated Oompa Loompa body.
An orange
and
head.
They kept telling him, don't act with your body. He's all, but I'm acting. I have to act with my body, So that was what he was uncomfortable about. And they've done something that's kind of cool to separate it out from being insulting to little people. The Oompa Loompa is like 12 inches tall.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's 12 inches tall. That's probably not true. There's probably somebody out there who is 12 inches tall. But, that's one way of getting around
mm-hmm.
that issue is make them so small that it's not insulting to anybody. But it was just magical. The songs are great. The songs are as good as the ones from the original Willy Wonka. And in fact, some of the songs are from the original Willy Wonka. So they bring that back as well. But the other thing about the Wonka movie, the first weekend it was out, they were, it's not doing as well as they hoped. It's a bomb and all this other stuff.
I heard that.
Yeah, not anymore. That movie's had legs that are so big. On Christmas Day, The Color Purple broke records. It got almost $20 million on Christmas Day. The next day, Willy Wonka was number one again, and with almost $9 million. And so far, it's grossed about $300 million off a $125 million budget. It's a hit. It's a big hit. And it's on a roll. It's especially doing well overseas. Mm-hmm. And I don't know what that indicates. It just surprises me. It just hit $100 million here in the States, but it's like at $200 million overseas. Lots more markets, of course. Mm-hmm. And as we used to know, many, many years ago in the days of Jaws, it was the domestic box office that counted. Mm-hmm. The worldwide box office was kind of gravy. These days, until recently, it was once again the overseas markets that really mattered. And the American market was, it's just okay. But now it's kind of switched over again. If a movie's not a hit in America, chances are it's not going to be a big enough hit overseas to make its money back. So it's weird how the box office just keeps rotating around what's important and what people are seeing. But don't think that Wonka is a bomb, because it is not. It is a smash hit.
Now, is Wonka considered a musical? Or
it is absolutely a musical. Okay. There's no question. It is absolutely a musical. Yeah. The director of Paddington directed it, which of course gives it some serious cred. Paddington is one of those movies, and I haven't seen it, and I really probably should, but people say it's on a scale of The Shawshank Redemption. It's that good. It's like battling between number 1 and 2 as the best movie of all time on Internet Movie Database. What does that tell you? And that's the guy who did Wonka and just captured it perfectly. I don't buy a lot of movies on Blu-ray these days, even though thanks to Guillermo del Toro, I've been buying more because he says we're the keeper of the movie history. I will buy Wonka the minute it comes out on Blu-ray. I loved it that much.
Now, you mentioned The Color Purple.
Yes.
Now, is this a retelling of?
No, it's the same movie, the Steven Spielberg movie that came out 35 years ago and made $20 million in the same day. Of course, it's a remake.
Well, no. What I don't understand is, I've heard that, The Color Purple. I'm going, well, wait a minute.
It's also a
was
musical.
It re-released?
No,
or is it brand new?
It's brand new. It's The Color Purple was reimagined as a Broadway musical.
Oh.
And then it became a film. And that's the film that was out on that day.
Oh, okay.
And as a weekly co-host on an entertainment show, I thought you would know that.
Well,
so you tell me you're not doing enough reading. Put down Put down the phone, stop playing the bird games, and start reading the news, John.
Now, you see, as a weekly co-host,
by the way, I misspoke. You're sidekick at best.
As a weekly sidekick, I mentioned that simply because for our less informed listeners out there may not know.
Sure, John. Okay, sure. By the way, there's headlines right there. Wonka tops Thursday box office with $8 million. That movie is on a roll. It is cleaning up, and good for it because it deserves everything. I don't know if he wants to do another Wonka movie. I almost don't want them to do another Wonka movie, but if it's as magical as this one, I'm in. And, you know, they did do Paddington 2, which Paddington here, Paddington 2 here. But, I mean, I've seen neither one, so I shouldn't be even talking about them. I'm gonna watch Paddington before next week's. I won't be here for next week's show, but I'll watch it for soon.
I have an idea, which means somebody else already has that idea.
Paddington meets Wonka.
Oh, that's another idea.
It's not a good one.
No, who takes Willy Wonka's place when Wonka decides, okay,
well, it's Charlie. We know that.
Exactly. But still, even in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, which is isn't that what the original book was called?
Yes.
Okay. That would make, I would think, a sequel to all of the Wonkas. The fact that Charlie,
but the problem is you're jumping ahead too far now, because in the new universe, Wonka just got his chocolate factory. I mean, he hasn't even got it yet. He just started building. He opened a store, and now he's going to open a factory with, spoiler alert, I probably should have said that, with the Oompa Loompas. So you got a long way to go. You don't just jump to him giving it away. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Don't you think? Don't you think?
Yeah. Okay.
That makes sense to me. I don't know. Anyway, that's not what we're here to talk about today. Today, we're going to talk about the most anticipated movies of 2024. I started with 25, but there were some that were a little lower that I wanted to talk about. So it's going to be like 33, the top 33 most anticipated movies of 2024. I was reading an article, and the guy was talking about how at the beginning of 2023, it looked like a pretty drab year for movies. But by the end of 2023, it turned out to be a pretty terrific year for movies. And I would agree with that. There was a lot of stuff that didn't work, but there was a lot of stuff that really worked. And I think that's pretty important. And the box office, it may not have come back to pre-COVID numbers, it did increase again. So when things are creeping back into normal. If any year is going to be the year of movies returning, I think it's going to be next year, because there's some big sequels, there's some big movies, and I think fewer superhero movies. It seems like the superhero movies may have run out of gas. Aquaman not doing well at all. And there you go. You got a $250 million movie and it's barely squeaking by. You can't afford to keep doing that over and over again. It's kind of like the streaming industries. Yeah. I just read that all of the Netflix competitors combined have lost $5 billion so far. You can't maintain that. Some of the streamers are going away. They're going to merge. They're going to form. They're going to keep dumping products. So you better get out there and buy the ones you like, because otherwise you may never see them again. But that's just the way things are working right now. So keep that in your minds. All right. So top movies, most anticipated movies of 2024. Johnny, do you have anything that you're looking forward to in 2024? I know there's one, but you're probably not going to think about it till we get to it.
Well, there's a movie which is out now, I believe, and that's Iron. Is it Iron Fist? Iron Claw. Iron Claw. Iron Fist.
Okay. Yes, it's Iron Claw.
Yeah,
and,
Iron Claw.
It's not anticipated for 2024, but go ahead. Right. You can talk.
No, the reason why I bring that up, back in the 60s and 70s, when I liked to watch Friday and Saturday night wrestling, if I wasn't out on a date, which most of the time I was not. Me and my buddies would get to and we'd watch wrestling, knowing it was less than real, but it was entertainment.
That's one way to put it. I always love The Rock always says, don't let anybody tell him wrestling's fake, because, he'll smack him or something. But because despite the fact that, it's scripted and it's choreographed, it's still hard work. So it's hard to say it's fake. Yeah. So no, not real is probably a good way of saying it.
I worked on a movie once with, which had Hulk Hogan. And
I've met Hulk. He's an enormous human being.
Yeah, he is. And I was doing craft services on this particular. It was called Suburban Commando, and we were shooting at I think it was called the WTC building, which was downtown LA. The building was still under construction, so a lot of the floors were empty. Basically, they were using it as a giant film studio. And I'm in the elevator. I hear, "Hold the door, please." And I hold the door, and Hulk Hogan gets in. And this guy is so big.
It's scary how big he is.
Yeah.
You stand next to him and you're like, "Yes, Mr. Hogan."
And it's like, we had a little conversation going. I said, "You know what? I don't understand. Yeah, I've watched wrestling, and I saw you in a match with the Big Boss Man. It was a guy who dressed up like he was a prison guard. And it was a cage match, and I saw you body slam him from the top of that cage. My question is, how do you guys not get hurt?" And he said, "Oh, trust me, we get hurt."
Exactly.
And it's just the way he said it, like, okay, I believe that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's true. I'm sorry, I'm a little distracted because I'm watching Variety's top TV shows of all time. In the corner, this little ad. Number 3 was Sopranos. Number 2 was Mad Men. And I'm wondering what number 1's going to be right now. Let's see if it comes up right now. And by the way, it's hard to pick the top because Sopranos and Mad Men are awesome. Number 1, I Love Lucy. How do you argue that? How do you argue that Lucy is not the greatest TV show of all time?
I mean,
but that's not what we're talking about. John's already taken us off on we just got off the freeway of our main subject, took a turn at Zizek's Road, and now we're heading out into the desert where there's nothing.
Yeah, but you didn't do the screeching tire effect.
No, I don't do that anymore.
Okay.
It's very too annoying.
Oh, okay.
It's even more annoying than you taking the off ramp to Zizek's.
Oh.
Woo! All right. So the most anticipated movies of 2024, starting with number 33.
Wow.
And that is Smile 2, which is coming out October 18th. Now, Smile was a horror movie that I have not seen, but I heard it was pretty good. I heard it was pretty creepy. And that's the movie where people get that weird smile on their face, apparently right before they start killing people. So Smile 2 will be out on October 18th. So again, Smile 1 was a big hit.
Almost a whole year.
And I bet you that Smile 2 will be a big hit because it probably has a little bit bigger budget than Smile 1. That's typically how it goes. But it's a horror movie, so it's fairly cheap. So it'll probably do very well.
Oh, that could be why they're waiting till October to release it.
No, they're waiting till October because it's Halloween.
That's what I mean. It's October, Halloween.
That's okay. That wasn't where you went with that, but okay.
Well, that's what I was thinking.
Okay. Number 32, Joker Folie à Deux. My French is terrible. I know that. That is October 4th. That is the return of Joaquin Phoenix as the Joker and the debut of Lady Gaga as Harley Quinn. Now, I've heard a lot of stories about this. I've heard that Gaga is a little frightening as Harley Quinn because she puts so much of herself into the role. The interesting thing about that will be that the Joker movie is so different than the Batman movies. It's more of a character study of a madman than it is a superhero story. Adding these two together will be interesting, but what will the story be?
True.
What will the story be?
Joker with Joaquin Phoenix was fantastic. He was fantastic. So I can only imagine.
Yeah. And Gaga's amazing. She is just one amazing talent. She's an incredible singer. She's an incredible actor. I'm pretty sure there's nothing she can't do. She just blows my mind. Also in the cast are Zazie Beetz, Brendan Gleeson, Catherine Keener, Jacob Blofeld, and Harry Lauti, all in the new Joker movie. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I wasn't a fan of the last Joker movie, even though I'm admitting it was brilliant. It was brilliant, and Joaquin Phoenix was scary good as it. But I didn't like the grim story. It was not a happy tale by any stretch of the imagination, and it didn't end with any note of hope. So we'll see where this one takes it and find out what happens. But that's Joker Folie à Deux. You think that's how you say it?
And they didn't have
that. You're not going to try to improve my French?
No.
Okay.
But in Joker, there was no Harley Quinn, was there?
Not in the first one, no.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
That's why it's the debut of Lady Gaga as Harley Quinn. Number 31 on the list, Saw 11 on September 27th. The last Saw movie got rave reviews. Rave reviews. They said it might have been the best Saw movie in the series. And it was a smash hit. And they're going to keep making them until people stop going. So,
like you said, as long as they're putting butts in the seats.
Butts in the seats. That all goes in there. They don't know much about it so far. They don't even know what the storyline is going to be. I'm not even sure that Tobin Bell is going to return as Saw. He did in the last one, even though his character had died of cancer many years before that. But the last one was a prequel. And I love the storyline of this, and I haven't seen it. So if I'm wrong, just send me an email. That would be roughedgestudios@gmail.com. Or, but the storyline was that Saw, because of his cancer, goes to Mexico to get treatment that he can't get here in the United States. And when he's down there, he uncovers this group of people who are abusing people who are coming to that for that very reason. They're tricking them. They're taking their money. They're scamming them. And he decides he's going to fix that. Sounds like my kind of story.
So in a sense, he's not really a bad guy.
No, he's pretty much a bad guy. He's pretty much
but for all the good reasons.
You know what he reasons. Do you know what Saw is? Saw is Dr. Phibes. Think about it. You remember the Dr. Phibes movie with Vincent Price?
Mm-hmm.
He hunted down people who had done something wrong in their life and made them do bizarre tricks in order to survive. The only one I remember was there was a doctor who had done something. I don't remember what the doctor had done. And Phibes had set up an operating room. And on the operating table was the doctor's son. Above the son's face was a vat of acid that was slowly tipping and was going to spill in 70 seconds or something like that onto the kid's face and obviously kill him, right? But the kid was under anesthesia, and Dr. Phibes had placed a key right next to the kid's heart. And the only way his father could to get that key, which would unlock the locks in the gurney, was to operate on his own son, pull the key away from his son's heart, and open the gurney. Pretty scary. Very much like what Saw does in these movies. The one that I always think about is they were in a room and it was locked and it was filling with water, I believe. And the only way to get out was to get the key. But in order to get the key, you had to reach through a plastic tube and grab the key and then pull your hand back out to do it. But in the middle of that plastic tube was a buzzsaw. So you had to do it. Oh, it just gives me the willies thinking about it, but that's fun. I like those Saw movies. So Saw 11 on September 27th. On September 13th, we have Transformers 1.
Yeah.
Are they going back to the beginning? What is it is an origin story unfolding on Cybertron where Autobots and Decepticons hail from. Now, the voices included here are Chris Hemsworth, Scarlett Johansson, Keegan-Michael Key, John Hamm, Lawrence Fishburne, and Brian Tyree Henry. So I'm sorry that they couldn't get some big names to do the voices for some of these characters. Yeah, right. John Hamm is on a roll.
Yeah.
He was in that show, The Morning Show with Jennifer Aniston. He's in the new season of Fargo, which is just amazing. He's doing Transformers.
He was also in the second season of Good Omens.
That's right. Yeah. I haven't seen that. Did you watch the second season?
Yes.
Of Good Omens? Was it?
Yeah, I liked it. I liked the first season. I liked the second season.
The book was amazing. And the series, I thought it was just okay, but I'll go back. I haven't watched the second.
Well, because
season.
I haven't read the book. That's probably why I really enjoyed the.
I don't know. It kind of followed the book, you know. I don't know. I'll look forward to it. I'll watch it. Number 29 on our list. Oh, this one I'm really looking forward to. Beetlejuice 2. It's returning with Michael Keaton coming back to play Beetlejuice. We also have Winona Ryder and Catherine O'Hara returning, as well as Jenna Ortega joining the cast.
Nice.
She's a Wednesday from, of course, the TV series Wednesday. I'm so looking forward to that. I hope that they don't blow it. This movie's been 25 years in the making. It's got to be
Don't
good.
we, in a sense, have a connection to Beetlejuice 2?
This is going to be interesting, folks. What's that, John?
Nelson.
Did he do some effects for that?
That was my understanding was, but we heard that like a year or so ago.
Yeah, Nelson Cooper, friend of the show. Let's put it that way. He did my tattoo. He does special effects for a living.
Oh yeah, he does.
He's also got a smokehouse now.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I don't know if he's just selling the rub or if he's selling the actual meats, but it's a mouth-watering page on Instagram. So it's Oh Hi Fire. Check it out.
All right.
September 6th for Beetlejuice. I would imagine they probably wanted closer to Halloween, but as you can see, Halloween's kind of booked already, so they're giving it some distance there. Number 28th on the list is a movie I have not heard of, Kraven the Hunter.
Neither have I.
And that's out on August 30th. J.C. Chandor directs Aaron Taylor Johnson as Russian immigrant Sergei Kravenov, who seeks to demonstrate that he is the best hunter in the world. Kraven the Hunter is based on the Marvel comic character of the same name. There you go. It's another Marvel there. Stars Russell Crowe, Ariana DeBose, and Christopher Abbott.
Now, the fact that, yes, it's from the world of Marvel. Is this movie based on the comic book character, or is it based on a book?
Sadly, I don't know. I would imagine it's a comic book character. And unfortunately,
which in a sense is a book. Not just a magazine.
That's what you want to argue about? Okay.
And, you know, speaking of books, R. Scott Bolton has books listed on Amazon.com. You go to Amazon.com, type in R. Scott Bolton, author, and it's going to pull up a plethora. Don't you like the way
I like that word? I don't know what it is, but
I don't either, but it sounded good.
Yeah.
Several books that Scott Bolton has written.
R. Scott Bolton.
And the most recent one is Death and the Mogul, which is a really fantastic book. And of course, my favorite, Dead Dick, which I really hope there's going to be a prequel and a sequel, but time will tell. If you've got Amazon Prime, you're going to get free delivery. And you know something? The fact that this is the end of the year, and what month comes after January? It's February. And what is synonymous with February? Valentine's Day.
Wow. We're shopping there already.
All these Valentine's Day presents you could get your sweetie. The entire collection of R. Scott Bolton books available on Amazon.com.
Nothing says I love you like a collection of the Brace Heller novels.
Yes. And then the fantasy books. The H.B. Fist series.
Science fiction.
And again, going to fantasy again, Dead Dick. I mean,
I'm not sure what Dead Dick is. It's fiction. I know that much.
Oh, he's dead. We know that.
No, he's dead. But I don't know what category you put that in, which I think is part of its charm.
Yes.
There's nuns with guns. What more do you need?
Not only nuns with guns, but nuns who ride Harleys.
It's true. Kraven the Hunter, I don't think is going to do well. It cost $140 million to make. And while I was Googling that, it's also on the list of movies most likely to bomb in 2024. So we'll see. Maybe it'll be so good that people will go out to see it, but I don't think that one bodes well. And $140 million for a Marvel movie is pretty cheap. So maybe that's okay. Next on the list, we have Borderlands from August 9th, directed by Eli Roth. It's the film adaptation of the popular video game Borderlands, with an ensemble cast including, get ready for this because there's some big stars in this, Cate Blanchett, Kevin Hart, Jack Black, Bobby Lee, Jamie Lee Curtis, Ariana Greenblatt, and Edgar Ramirez. And let me just add a couple of words there. Oscar-winning Jamie Lee Curtis. Isn't that great? Mm-hmm. She's got an Oscar. I'm so excited about that. Anyway, that might do well. Borderlands is a very popular video game. Some of the gamers are going to hate it because they always hate movies based on their games, but other people will like it. And Eli Roth is on a kind of a roll. He just had his most successful film of all time released. Thanksgiving, his most successful film ever. Mm-hmm. Number 26 on the list, we've got, this is the one I was thinking about for John, Deadpool 3 on July 26th. We've all been waiting for Deadpool to return. I think he may be the only superhero that doesn't suffer from superhero fatigue because the movies are so different. Yeah. They're so hysterically funny and crazy, and still a superhero movie that I think that this is one that will not be it will not be hurt by the superhero fatigue, but we'll have to wait and see. But we only have to wait until July 26th.
I got to tell you, I love the way Deadpool, the character, breaks the fourth wall.
Well, apparently he did that in the books, in the comics too.
Oh, okay.
So I didn't know that, but apparently that's what somebody told me. So it's not like it's something they did just for the movie. Mm-hmm. And plus it fits Ryan Reynolds to a T. He steps into that character like he's is the character.
Mhm.
And a fourth wall kind of thing is something else that Ryan Reynolds would be good at. So as he's proven in those two movies. So Deadpool 3, July 26th, cannot wait. Number 25 on the list, sequel to Twister called cleverly Twisters on July 19th. This film follows the 1996 disaster epic Twister, which starred Helen Hunt, Bill Paxton, Carrie Elways, and Philip Seymour Hoffman as scientists trying to conquer the most powerful tornado in decades. The new cast, I don't know who's returning.
Well, we know two that are not.
Well, that's true. Bill Pullman's not going to make it, and did I say Bill Paxton? Bill Pullman could still make it. Bill Paxton cannot, and neither can Philip Seymour Hoffman. But I don't know. I haven't heard if Helen Hunt's coming back, and they say even here that the plot details are under wraps. I mean, you want the plot? Here's a plot. A twister comes, they go out to film it, they almost get killed, they survive. There you go.
Which was pretty much what the first one was.
Jean Dubond directed the first one, and afterwards they were going to give him Godzilla to direct. And I thought, that's perfect, because basically Twister was a Godzilla movie. Mm-hmm. Big monster destroying buildings, but it didn't come to be, unfortunately. So are you looking forward to Twisters, or do you think that's still got some mileage on it?
I don't know. Being someone who grew up in what they call Tornado Alley, yeah, I guess.
We'll see. Mm-hmm. I don't know. It's probably the kind of movie that plays really well in a theater because of special effects and music and all that, but I don't know. We'll see. Mm-hmm. Number 24 on the list, Despicable Me 4. Those movies are always fun. Steve Carell is returning. Kristen Wiig, Pierce Coffin, Miranda Cosgrove, and Steve Coogan are also returning. And the director of the first two movies is returning as well. So if you like the Despicable Me character, here's the thing about the Despicable Me series. It's so weird to me. The guy's a villain. Mm-hmm. He wants to take over the world. He wants to destroy things, but he's still so lovable.
Well, it's
weird.
It's because of the girls. That's when he became their guardian. That's when that roughness, as far as wanting to destroy,
kind of faded away.
Yeah,
but he's still a bad guy.
I know it, but for all the good right reasons.
He's kind of like a Batman bad guy, a Batman villain, because it's like they really want to do something evil, but they never quite can do it unless they're the Joker.
See, he wouldn't say, "I'm Batman." He would say, "I'm Groot." Okay.
Give him enough rope. Number 23 on our list is Horizon, an American saga. The dates for that are June 28th and August 16th. I think there's another date coming in for that as well. That is the new series of films from Kevin Costner. Directed, produced, and co-written by Costner. He's got 3 Westerns. He wants them to come out within, as you can see, June 28th and August 16th. I think he wants them out like 60 days from each other. Studio told him no. We'll see if that actually happens. So I don't know how much clout Costner has right now. He always makes his own clout. Don't get me wrong. But I don't know how much clout he has. He has enough clout to get 3 Westerns made. So there's that.
Is he just making them, or is he also starring in them?
I'm pretty sure he's starring. Yeah, it does. Directed, produced, and co-written by star Kevin Costner.
Oh,
so he's acting in them as well. It is a Western that follows the expansion of the American West during the time periods before and after the Civil War. Oh, it's only 2 parts now. I thought it was 3. So it will be released in 2 parts, the first in June and the second in August. Maybe that's the deal he made with the studios. Because originally my understanding was it was 3 movies to be released 30 days apart. But now it's 2 movies to be released 60 days apart.
I am a Kevin Costner fan. Yes, I am looking forward to this.
I am too. But I also have a hunch that what's going to happen to them is the same thing that happened to some of his other movies, like Waterworld and The Postman, and that they will be reviled by the critics, and that they will tank at the box office, and that they will become classics in their own time.
Yeah,
I think that's probably what's going to happen. Maybe not. Maybe this will be what brings the Western back. We'll see.
Now, let me ask you this question. In that vein, Steven Spielberg, way back when.
Yep.
How did critics treat him when Jaws came out, or even before Jaws?
He's always been a critic's darling.
Oh, okay. For some reason, I thought the critics didn't like him in the beginning.
I don't think that's the case.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think that's the case.
Then I stand
They were
corrected.
there were filmmakers who were jealous of him because he was 26 and he directed Jaws, which, you know, and then he got carte blanche in his next movie. Well, kind of carte blanche in his next movie, because Close Encounters of the Third Kind. I don't know that he had final cut, but he had a lot more influence than any other director his age probably ever had. But I also know that my favorite story with Steven Spielberg is after Jaws, MGM called him and they said, "We are thrilled with what you did for Jaws. We want you to direct anything. You pick what you want to direct next. We'll finance it. We'll get it done." And Spielberg says, "I'd like to do James Bond." And they said, "Anything but James Bond." But I always think, what were we robbed from that? What would have Steven Spielberg done with James Bond? I would have loved to have seen that. So,
well, you know, that's just like Quentin Tarantino. He wanted to do a James Bond.
Yeah, they pretty much did his James Bond.
Well, if he had actually done it, I feel like we, as the movie-going public, we were robbed.
We were, because they wanted to do a 50s era, or maybe even a 40s era Casino Royale in black and white with Pierce Brosnan portraying Bond. It might have been the best Bond movie ever made. But the studio said no, even though they went back and took Casino Royale and used it to reboot Daniel Craig. They didn't treat it as a period piece like Tarantino and Brosnan wanted to do. But they did go back and start from the beginning with that. And it worked. It worked. It introduced us to Craig's Bond. And we knew after that first movie, boy, this guy can carry it off.
Oh, yeah.
And it's sad because Brosnan got the worst era of James Bond movies. And then Craig got the best era of Bond movies, because 3 of the 4 Craig movies, I don't know why I'm sticking on Craig today, were really good. And the 4th one was still good. And the 3 that Brosnan did, the first one was great. GoldenEye is one of the best Bond movies in the series. The other 2 that not well at all. As a matter of fact, I think last week we were talking about worst special effects of all time, and or sometime recently. And that Bond movie is number 1 on the list for the worst special effects, with that terrible, terrible ice flow sequence.
I thought that one was with Roger Moore.
There was no CGI in the Roger Moore movies. So
no, I understand, but wasn't there in one of the Roger Moore movies?
There's always a snow scene in a Bond movie.
Well, yeah, and when he skied, or
it's not. That's not. No. That's not the scene. The scene is he's skiing off the ice floe, and the ice floe collapses, and then he surfs across the water.
Yeah. Okay.
Welcome to the show.
Okay, thank you.
Anyway, we'll see what happens with Horizon. I'm excited about it. Yellowstone's been a big hit, and the prequels have been a big hit. Maybe. This will also do that as well. And by the way, folks, if you're wondering why Kevin Costner left Yellowstone, these movies is why. That's all. The other stuff is just talk, but he wanted to make these movies. So, let's see. Number 22 on the list, June 28th, A Quiet Place, Day 1. I am ashamed to admit I have not seen a single Quiet Place movie.
Well, how many has there been so far? 2?
This is the 3rd.
Okay.
This is a prequel to the 2018 post-apocalyptic thriller, which depicts the origins of the world where we meet the Abbott family, and people must stay silent to hide from creatures who hunt for prey using sound. I don't know that John Krasinski is directing this one, even though I'm thinking that he probably did, because this is his world. He created this world. I don't know. His wife's still in it, if this picture's from the new movie. So I don't know. We'll see. But regardless, I gotta see these movies. Have you seen any of the Quiet Place movies?
No, I haven't.
And see, that's embarrassing, because there's successful enough for there to be 3 of them, and we haven't seen them.
Well, the thing is, if you and I were to see every movie ever that has come out in the last 5 years, we'd still have our butts in the theater.
We should be. That's where I want to be.
No, I mean, we'd be doing the show live from the theater.
That's true.
And we'd be talking like this, so people wouldn't hear us unless they had their headphones turned.
Imagine doing the show in the theater like that.
Oh, wow.
All right. So anyway, 22, A Quiet Place, Day 1 on June 28th. By the way, if you're worried about this list and you want to know which movies there are, it's from variety.com. And just go there and type in most anticipated movies of 2024, and you will get the list as well. Next up, we've got number 21, The Bike Riders, which is due out on June 21st. Inspired by Danny Leone's, let me try that again because I think I said it wrong. Inspired by Danny Lyon's book of photography, Jeff Nichols' film follows a 1960 Midwestern motorcycle club called the Vandals, tracing its evolution into something more sinister. Austin Butler and Jodie Comer, that's a good cast, play a married couple involved in the Vandals, with Tom Hardy portraying the biker gang's hot-blooded leader. Do you think Tom Hardy's the right guy to play somebody hot-blooded? Yeah.
It almost sounds like an American version of the Road Warrior.
Well, but it's not post-apocalyptic. Huh?
Well, I know that, but that's why I say it almost sounds like an American version of the what was the first one called? Was the first one called Road Warrior?
Mad Max.
Mad Max. That's what it sounds like. An American version of Mad Max, because didn't they terrify him and his wife? And
well, he was a cop. Yeah.
So
he was mad too.
Oh yeah.
By the way, I think we're going to be seeing Mad Max on this list a little later. As a matter of fact, we'll see. Yeah. Number 20 on the list is Inside Out 2 on June 14th. This is a sequel to the animated film, of course, with the emotions. I never saw this one either, but I heard it was really great. The characters are called anxiety, joy, sadness, anger, fear, and disgust. So, and these are all running around inside of a teenager's head. The voices include Amy Poehler, Phyllis Smith, and Louis Black, who are reprising their roles from the previous film. And joining it this time are Tony Hale and Liza Lapiro, taking over the roles of fear and disgust for Bill Hader and Mindy Kaling. Why is that? Why did Bill Hader and Mindy Kaling not return?
Prior commitments, maybe.
That's all I can think of. I mean, they're big stars in their own rights. Don't get me wrong. But it just seems surprising that they wouldn't come back for this, especially because it's just a voice role. You know what I think it is? Money.
Yeah, that could very well be.
Inside Out 2 on June 14th. Number 19 on the list, Bad Boys 4, coming out on June 14th. Will Smith and Martin Lawrence return for the fourth installment. Yeah, I don't care.
I honestly cannot remember if I saw the third one or
I did not.
I saw the first one, and I believe I saw the second one. And I got to tell you, I did like the camaraderie between the two actors.
I like the ridiculous action. I mean, it was almost Fast and Furious action going on in there, and that always entertained me. And yeah, they're both pretty funny together. The last movie, doesn't matter whether you and I saw it, it made $426 million the box office. Yeah. So, but I wonder what this one cost, because if they spent more on it, they're not going to get the same return. I don't believe, but we'll find out. Anyway, Bad Boys 4 on June 14th. On June 7th, we have Ballerina. You know anything about Ballerina?
Not really.
Do you watch the
fact it's someone who dances around?
Do you watch the John Wick movies?
Yes, and if I remember correctly, I can't remember if it was the first one or the second one, maybe even the third one or the fourth one. No, actually, I haven't seen the fourth one yet. But there is a scene where John Wick goes to a ballerina teacher, director, whatever they're called, who has a ballerina school or something like that.
She is the Ana de Armas is an assassin trained in the traditions of the Ruska Roma. The franchise's latest feature, John Wick Chapter 4, became the highest grossing entry in the action series, also earning critical acclaim with a score of 95% on Rotten Tomatoes. That's a big score. It was a great movie. The cast includes Ana de Armas. I just watched her in a really weird movie called Knock Knock. It was crazy. But anyway, we'll get back to that at another time. Angelica Houston, Gabriel Byrne, the late Lance Reddick, still in the film, Catalina Sandino Moreno, Norman Reedus, Ian McShane, and a little actor you guys might know as Keanu Reeves. Keanu Reeves returns as John Wick in Ballerina. So that one is on June 7th. I believe it's from the same filmmakers as the John Wick series. I personally can't wait. I love those movies. Those movies, they're just eye candy and fun and crazy. And again, they're things that need to be seen at a theater so you can watch the melee take place on screen.
Have you watched any of the Continental?
I watched the first episode.
I have not yet.
I was extremely disappointed. Here's the problem with the Continental. It's got all the action. It's got all the storyline. It has the grit and the dirt that the John Wick movies have. Doesn't have John Wick. And it hurts for that. There's no one really to cheer for. They're all bad guys. John Wick, they stole his car and killed his dog.
Yeah.
You cheer for that guy through all 4 movies, 5 movies now, probably with Ballerina. It doesn't click in the Continental. It just did not work. It felt ugly and not fun to watch. So, I mean, I only watched the first episode. Maybe it gets better. The first episode was like 90 minutes long or something. And it was not entertaining. So
do you think that in the John Wick, the first one, if they had just stolen the car, if he would have gone on,
he would not have
that rampage.
He would not have.
But it was the fact that his wife left him that dog
after she died.
Yeah.
After she died, she had that dog delivered. So that was his last gift from his wife, and they killed it. And it's killed one dog, and how many of them people died now?
Oh yeah.
John Wick movies are awesome.
Yes, they are.
All right. Next on our list, number 17, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes from May 24th. There's a ton of these Planet of the Apes movies since the CGI versions took over.
And there was even I know there was a live action TV series, and I can't remember if there was a cartoon.
No, about the original series.
Yeah.
I'm talking about when the CGI took over.
Oh, excuse me.
So there was tons of from the original, which I still prefer. I still prefer the original. But these movies are good. They got to be killer expensive.
Oh yeah.
Turning all those people into apes has got to be killer expensive. But they're always successful. They always do well. And I wish I knew how many there were now, but I'm guessing 6. Is this the 6th CGI version of Planet of the Apes?
The one with Mark Wahlberg, was that CGI? Well,
that doesn't count. That wasn't part of it. That was Tim Burton's version.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's not part of it. This is the apes are all, the difference there is that the apes in the Tim Burton movie were kind of like the apes in the original series, kind of part human, part ape. They're pure apes in the CGI versions. They're just apes. And that's the big difference. Plus the storyline is different. It follows Caesar, who was a character in the original series as well. Mm-hmm. And as he takes over the Planet of the Apes. So obviously, anyway, that's, if you like those movies, and by the way, there's some terrific acting going on in those movies because they use actual actors' faces with the CGI stuff all stuck on them. So those actors are actually emoting, and it comes through in these movies. There was even talk about one of them, Andy Serkis, when he portrayed Caesar in one of the movies. There was Oscar talk for him. He was that good in that movie. So of course it got poo-pooed because it was CGI, but there was Oscar talk because there's a performance beneath it that people forget about. So anyway, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes on May 24th. Next up, Garfield on May 24th. Of course, it's an animated film based on the cat who likes to eat lasagna. That lasagna almost looks like peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Chris Pratt and Samuel L. Jackson are doing the voices. Bill Murray did them originally in 2004 and 2006. Pratt plays the cat, and Jackson portrays his father, Vic, a new character. That'll be interesting.
Yeah.
Do you think Samuel L. Jackson can get through without saying the F word?
Maybe in the edited version.
How many mother effing cats are in this mother effing litter box? I can just hear it.
No,
all right.
As soon as I saw that, I could only think of that time I called you up. Hey, Scotty, the voice of Garfield died.
Yeah, he laughs like that's a joke now. He was serious. He called me on his way driving back to let me know, breaking news, the voice of Garfield died. Sad, don't get me wrong.
Not Bill Murray, Did
I need a call? I don't think I needed a call. Number 15 on the list, and this should be way higher if it's any good. Furiosa, a Mad Max saga on May 24th. I will tell you again that the best movie I've seen in the past 15 years is Mad Max Fury Road. I went to see that movie in an IMAX theater. I was blown away from the minute it started to the minute it ended. And when I got up, and I swear this is true, my legs were shaking. Wow. I was so overcome by how great that movie was. I really want this one to be the same. This is the one where Anya Taylor-Joy takes over the Charlize Theron character. They asked Charlize Theron, "Are you upset that they recast you in a movie with a younger woman?" And she goes, "Don't be an idiot. It's an earlier version of the movie. They can't make me younger." So she gets it. Chris Hemsworth also returns. There's going to be tons of car action, post-apocalyptic car action, trucks crashing, things flying, weird cities, all this other bizarre stuff. That guy has created a really bizarre world with the Mad Max series. I'm very much looking forward to this. My only concern is that I watched the trailer and there might be too much CGI. In the last one, George Miller used just a little CGI. So all those chase scenes, they're real. That stuff's happening. Yeah. This one, and just the trailer looks like there might be a little more CGI. Hoping he steps away from that and continues to do the actual stunts that he's doing, because it does take away the thrill of it when you realize that it's not actually happening.
I mean, if it's something that's being shot in outer space, or if it's like a superhero movie, but no, I agree with you.
Well, I'm not dissing CGI here, because I know you don't like CGI, but I'm not dissing CGI.
Well, it's not that
I'm just saying that in this particular instance, with the action taking place on the screen and knowing that it's real and seeing what you're seeing is kind of mind blowing.
Yeah.
But if there's too much CGI, then it becomes Fast and Furious, and I don't want that. Even though it is Furiosa, maybe it's Fast and Furiosa.
Ooh,
erase that. Not. Pretend that. Take that out, would you? That's terrible. Number 14th on May 17th is a movie called If. This is written and directed by John Krasinski, and it stars Ryan Reynolds and Phoebe Waller-Bridge. And ask the question: what if your imaginary friends weren't imaginary? Have you seen the trailer for this?
No, I honestly hadn't even heard about it.
I will show you the trailer after we'd finished the show today. This movie looks magical. It looks like a lot of fun. Who knew John Krasinski was such a genius?
Yeah.
I mean, we knew he was talented, but who knew he was this talented? It's amazing. More power to you, Mr. Krasinski. This film looks like it's going to tug at your hearts. Ryan Reynolds and Phoebe Waller-Bridge are both fantastic. I don't know how it can go wrong. So very much looking forward to If on May 17th. Next on the list, we have 13 Back to Black on May 10th. This is Marissa Abela of Industry, stars as the late sultry singer Amy Winehouse in a biopic directed by Sam Taylor Johnson. Amy Winehouse broke my heart.
Oh yeah,
she was just
a talent.
Yeah, but she had that gene, that addiction gene, and it just put her on the ground, and it's a horrible thing, because she would have been a star for the rest of her days. There's just no question in my mind.
Her voice was so, it was just, yes.
It was amazing. So I'll be very interested in seeing that. Back to Black is the name of the movie on May 10th, the Amy Winehouse movie. On May 3rd, the big screen version of The Fall Guy takes place. Ryan Gosling is returning as the star of the 1980 series The Fall Guy. Lee Majors was the original Fall Guy, right? He plays a stuntman. The film follows stuntman Colt Seavers as he works on a film directed by his ex-girlfriend, Jody Moreno, who is played by Emily Blunt. It's just got to be fun, right? It just got to be. And Gosling can do no wrong these days. Guy's amazing. He's another one of those people that it's just way too much talent for one human being. Can you share some of that talent, please?
Which in the original TV series, the character Jody, and
that character was from the series, Jody Moreno?
But she was not his girlfriend. She was a stunt woman in his little organization. Oh. Not only were they stunt people, they were also bounty hunters.
Oh, I don't know if this is going to follow that, because according to this, things don't go smoothly once the star of the film disappears and Colt sets off to find her. So it's like he's doing a rescue kind of thing instead. But interesting. At least they're still using the same names.
As a matter of fact, The Fall Guy, I believe, is available. It's either on Prime Video or it's on Netflix, one or the other. The original series.
Lee Majors is 84, hoping for a cameo.
That would be cool.
Hoping for a cameo. Number 11 on our list, we have Challengers on April 26th. Challengers is a steamy romantic comedy sports drama starring Zendaya as Tashi, a tennis coach who has trained her husband, Art Donaldson, to tennis stardom. After a string of losses for Art, Tashi signs him up for a Challengers event against none other than Tashi's ex-boyfriend and Art's former best friend, Patrick. Quickly, it becomes clear that tensions in the court stem from the tensions off of it. I'm not interested. Sorry. Nothing there excites me. Doesn't have to though. If it's your type of thing, then more power to you. But
if you like tennis, why not?
On April 26th, we have Civil War, directed and written by Alex Garland. This apocalyptic action film depicts a United States in the midst of conflict, with 19 states having seceded and the U.S. government facing off against a Texan and Californian army called the Western Forces. Kristen Dunst, Jesse Plemons, and Kylie Spenny all star. Okay, maybe. I'm curious why Kristen Dunst and Jesse Plemons are in it. Why am I asking that?
That's weird because there was
because they're husband and wife.
No.
I know, but I was answering my question before you took us off to Zizix again.
Oh, okay. Well,
Johnny, before you even say it, there's been a ton of American Civil War movies, both past and future.
Oh, I know.
It's not like it's an original story.
This was a TV show.
Okay, well, that makes all the difference then.
Okay.
What was the TV show?
Exactly
my point.
Jericho. It was called Jericho.
Okay. There's also a book by Noah Hawley about that was freaking brilliant.
Jericho is about the states. Several of the states got together and decided they were going to form their own little country, and Texas being one of them. So, and how who comes to their rescue?
Not exactly a stretch. If that ever happens, Texas is going to be the first one.
Oh yeah, and check it out. I'll put it that way. Check it out.
Number 9 on the list, and one of my most eagerly anticipated movies, Godzilla Kong: The New Empire, out on April 12th. Don't say it, John. You don't pronounce the X.
I was going to say Godzilla 10.
Yeah. My understanding is, and I learned this on the anime show with Devin Crow, is that there are a ton of anime titles with characters like Pokemon X Godzilla or whatever. And the X is not pronounced. It's just put there for as a symbol. Doesn't mean anything. So it's not Godzilla X Kong. It's just Godzilla Kong.
Okay.
And in this, two of them team up together because they have to fight a giant orangutan.
Okay.
Any chance I get to see Godzilla kick some butt, I'm all over it. I'll tell you this right now, it won't be as good as Godzilla -1, which just won Best Picture in Japan. That's how good this Godzilla movie is. Godzilla X Kong. God damn it, I did it. Godzilla Kong: The New Empire, April 12th. I banged the table because I was mad at myself for saying X. Don't say the X. Number 8 on March 29th, Mickey 17. Now, I don't know about you. I do not remember Mickey 1 through 16.
Not me neither.
So we're already up to Mickey 17. It's not a sequel. Robert Pattinson stars as a space traveler, Mickey 17 in Bong Joon-ho's sci-fi thriller. Mickey, a disposable employee, is sent on a deadly mission to colonize the ice world Nilfum. When one employee dies, he's cloned with the memories of the traveler who comes before him. Mark Ruffalo and Toni Collette co-star. Look, I'm not a fan of the Twilight series. I thought if you got a vampire who's sparkling, you lost my interest already, okay? But Robert Pattinson is a very good actor. And he was terrific as Batman in his Batman movie. So, will I watch this? Probably so. And Toni Collette and Mark Ruffalo just adds to the pie. Number 7 on the list, Ghostbusters Frozen Empire on March 29th. Did you see the last Ghostbusters movie?
I haven't seen the last 2 Ghostbusters.
I haven't seen the last one. I saw the one before that, but I didn't see this one. The sequel to... might be in trouble here. We'll see. The sequel to 2021's Ghostbusters Afterlife follows the Spangler family leaving Oklahoma and going to the original New York fire station in the original 1984 Ghostbusters film. There they meet with the original Ghostbusters and end up needing to bust a villainous force, aptly named the Death Chill. I was actually more excited about that when I thought it said Death Chili, but it does say Death Chill.
The fact that it said they meet up with the originals, that's going to be kind of hard to do, isn't it?
Why? Doesn't say all of the originals.
Well, that's true.
Okay. John was going to give you his death information again.
Well,
You always gravitate toward that.
I don't know.
Are you? It's
Well,
weird.
you're as close to it as I am. Why not?
Number 6 on the list is Kung Fu Panda 4. I recently saw the trailer for this at Wonka, of all things, and it looks pretty entertaining. Jack Black, of course, returning as the voice of the Kung Fu Panda. Let's see who else is in this. Viola Davis in it as well, along with Dustin Hoffman. So good stuff there. If you like those animated films, those are pretty popular.
Yeah, I got to admit, I liked them.
Number 5 on the list, Dune Part 2, which is out on March 1st. This is the sequel to the big Dune movie that, of course, was a smash hit last year. I'm having some error messages from this page, so I hope we get through this.
I haven't seen that version.
It's really, really good. It's really, really good. And not only that, they say that this one, the first one was kind of a setup movie.
Mm-hmm.
So at times it kind of got a little slow as they were telling the story and introducing you to characters. The director says this one's an action movie. And guess who's in it? Timothy Chalamet. Shocker. Guy's so good.
Who would have thunk it?
He's in Wonka and in Dune. Like I told my wife, I said, he makes the children, millions of children happy by making candy in Wonka, and he's responsible for the deaths of 65 million people in Dune too.
Just for the spice.
Just for the spices. Number 4 on the list, Bob Marley, One Love on February 14th. How appropriate.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this one.
I am too. It's a biopic about Bob Marley, of course, and it stars Kingsley Ben-Adir as Bob Marley. And it starts at the beginning and ends with the 1976 shooting at his home. Oh, I'm sorry. From the beginning of his career to a 1976 shooting. I thought he died from the shooting, but he was shot in 1976 and died in 1981.
I thought that he died as, 76 to 81. That's only what, 5 years?
5 years, but
yeah.
I mean, it took him that long to die from a gunshot wound. Maybe
complications. I don't know.
Yeah, interesting. Number 3 on the list, Madam Web, also on Valentine's Day. Another Marvel film starring Dakota Johnson. She is a clairvoyant paramedic who develops the ability to see into the future. I'm sorry. Another Marvel movie. It just doesn't fire my engines. What do you think?
I'll see it.
But you won't see it in theaters, so it doesn't matter.
That's true too.
Yeah. Argyle on February 2nd. I'm very excited to see this one. The trailer looks awesome. Action comedy film Argyle from director Matthew Vaughn features a star-studded cast with the likes of Dua Lipa, Henry Cavill, John Cena, Samuel L. Jackson, and Ariana DeBose.
That's good cast.
It is a great cast. And it's about a spy novelist who finds out that the events of her novel are coming to life. And so the spies want to come to her and make her write their stories for them. A lot of fun.
Bryce Dallas Howard. Yeah, I'm there.
Yeah, should be good stuff. And Matthew Vaughn makes good action films. Mm-hmm. So what do you think the number 1 most anticipated film is of 2024?
We know it's not Once Upon a Time in Ernest Rides Again.
I wish.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Yes. Let's find out. Let's just move on because I don't have an idea. And my hunch is that we're going to go to number 1 here. And we're both going to go, oh, yeah, of course. Number 1 most anticipated film in 2024 is Mean Girls.
Well, no, I wasn't
on January 12th. Neither was I. 2024's Mean Girls isn't exactly a remake of the 2004 iconic original film, but an adaptation of the Broadway musical that premiered in 2018. Written by Tina Fey, 100% behind that. Tina Fey is a legend in my mind. I really don't think that's the number 1 most anticipated movie of 2024. I really don't. And we'll find out soon because it's out on January 12th.
Now, I just saw something up there which brings me to, I saw a word that said bee. I want so much to see Jason Statham's Beekeeper.
In my book, The Beekeeper is way more anticipated than Mean Girls. Especially since a friend of a friend recently had his elderly father had all of his money stolen by those sons of guns. And I'm saying sons of guns because this is a family show. You know what I really mean. Yeah. And that's what The Beekeeper is about. Those people who steal money from the elderly. They just stole everything out of this guy's account. They steal from the wrong person. They steal from a friend of Jason Statham. And so he goes down there to shut them down. And what does Jason Statham mean by shutting down? Oh, he's going to burn their building to the ground and kill everybody in it. And you know what? That's what should happen to those people. And argue with me, make me change my mind. You can't do it. All right, folks, that's it for this week's show. Thank you for listening. We went a little long because we had so many good movies to talk about. 2024 is going to be a good year for movies. I'm convinced of that. And I know this because The Beekeeper comes out next month.
So, and that wasn't on the list.
That's my point. See, the list is wrong. So that's how it goes.
I mean, Variety, you would think you do have the inside track for what's going on in Hollywood. When I say Hollywood, I'm talking about in the movie world, because that is worldwide. How come you didn't list The Beekeeper?
Well, we know why. It's Jason Statham movies. Jason Statham movies, with the exception of the Fast and Furious series and the giant shark movies, Megs, they just do so box office. Enough to keep them working. Don't get me wrong. They usually make money, but they're not big hit. So whether Mean Girls is going to be a big hit or not, I don't know. Wonka is a musical doing extremely well. This Mean Girls is a musical, and Color Purple is a musical doing extremely well. Maybe it's going to continue the trend, but I sure wouldn't have listed it as my number one most anticipated movie of 2024.
If I want to see a musical, I want to see something that is not based on something else.
So you wouldn't want to see Wonka? Your argument's already dead in the water. You don't want to see Color Purple? You probably don't want to see Color Purple for other reasons.
No, The Color Purple, the original movie, was groundbreaking.
It was. It's a classic.
It's fantastic. And the cast.
You know how many Oscars that won? 0.
I was going to say 0.
What was that about?
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
But the talent that was in front of the camera, let alone behind the camera, that was a great movie.
It was a great movie.
But no, I would like to see. No, I wouldn't want to see Dead Dick made into a musical.
No.
Then again, they throw you enough money. Why not?
I think like my favorite author. My favorite author is Robert B. Parker. And Robert B. Parker always said, I don't care what they do with my product after they buy it, as long as they pay me enough money. And he's not wrong. That's what you have to think of. And proof of that in the pudding is that he created one of the great literary detectives of all time with his character Spencer. And somebody bought the rights to those characters and made a crappy movie with Mark Wahlberg that had nothing to do with the books. They use the same names, but nothing to do with the books.
I did like the TV show.
The TV show was, because it was closer. It played the characters closer. But the movie, he wasn't even a detective. It was horrible. By the way, would have been fine if it hadn't been a Spencer movie. Would have been entertaining. But making it a Spencer movie, it was atrocious for that. I can't forgive them for that.
Speaking of Wahlberg, you know what I finally watched?
The time we're already late.
I know. Ted.
Oh, that's fun.
I haven't seen Ted 2 yet.
I have not either, but I want to see that. Ted was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was like, whoa.
My understanding is they're going to have a TV show. So we'll see. I don't know that that's true or not, but
it's going to be, wow.
Seth MacFarlane's been kind of quiet lately, and I missed that guy. Unfortunately, it was like the Orville is dead, and that's sad because that was a great series.
Was really,
it looks like that's good. Dead, but he's still making enough money from Family Guy. And if you like Family Guy, more power to you. I don't get it. I just don't get it.
Oh yeah.
All right, folks. We'll see you. No show next week because I'm going to Las Vegas.
I wanted to ask you, what are your plans for ringing in the new year? Saying goodbye to the old year.
My plans are what they always are. They are to go get a cocktail, maybe some dinner somewhere, get home by 9:00 so we can. No, we'll stay out and celebrate the 9:00 East Coast celebration, and then we'll go home and get off the roads and stay, and then wait for the California New Year's Eve. So nothing big, but that's what we do every year because we don't want to be out in the streets after that hour. It's scary. And plus, we've probably been drinking all night. Shouldn't be out there like that.
Oh, that's true.
The best place in town to go, and we'll be playing their ad here in a bit, is the Grape. The Grape is having a massive New Year's Eve party. They're going to have great live jazz. They're going to have great cocktails. It's going to be a terrific party. But if you want to go, tough. It's already sold out. So sorry, but if I was going to stay out till the full midnight, that's where I'd be. I'd be at the Grape for sure. For sure. What are you doing? Wait until midnight and firing your gun toward the river bottom?
No.
Oh, good.
I'll shoot it at the cars going by.
Perfect.
No, I will probably get an airplane bottle size of champagne or champagne, or
now wait a minute. Airplane size or airline sized?
Airlines.
Okay, I thought you were going to get a big, one giant one you hold by the wings.
Ooh.
Yeah.
And it probably won't be champagne. It'll be sparkling wine if it's brewed here, if it's made here in this country.
Actually, I believe there are a couple of California winemakers now that can call their wine champagne, their sparkling wine champagne.
Really?
It's called California champagne, but they've earned the right to use the champagne on their labels.
And I will, at midnight, now whether I'm going to do the East Coast, Midwest, or West Coast, ringing it in, I don't know. What's hurting me right now is my sciatica problem I have. So I'm not going to be going out. It's just, it's going to be too much.
You don't have to go far. You can just walk across to the 5 weavers. Or what is it? 3 weavers? 6 weavers. 3 weaves. Weavers Wines.
4 bricks.
Jesus, that was way off. 4 bricks and have some champagne over there.
Yeah, but they're probably not. Well, I don't know if they're going to be.
They're not going to be open till midnight, but they'll do something.
Oh, I could always open up the door. No.
That'd be a bad idea.
Yeah, that would be a very bad idea.
All right, folks. So we'll see you in a couple of weeks. I'll be in Las Vegas next week, so no show. My wife and I are finally going to Vegas. She hasn't been in a long time, and our friends who are much more serious gamblers than I do, not only do they get free rooms, they get free rooms for their friends.
Oh, nice.
So they're hooking us up some free rooms. And then I have a free room we have free rooms in Laughlin, and then I got a free room up in Las Vegas from the Four Queens. So we're going to go up to Las Vegas and hit our favorite
Four Queens is a nice place.
Spots. It is. And no resort fee. They're not trying to screw you like all the other ones are.
And free parking.
That's right. Which none of the other ones offer now. Even though that's starting to fade away.
Yeah.
I think that started hurting their business. All of a sudden you got to pay $10 before you go in and give them $100 to gamble.
Yeah.
Yeah, crazy. But I think it's starting to fade away.
Well, Scotty, may I say, hope you guys have a very happy, sane, well, not so sane, but safe.
It'll be safe.
New Year's.
No sane. Yes. And the same to you. Happy New Year. Happy 2024.
And to our listening audience and those watching us.
That's right. And by the way, 2024 is a very important year for me because I am leaving my current job and becoming a full-time writer. It's going to be weird. Anyway, as always, the show is brought to you by The Grape, and we're going to let this guy tell you about it, and we'll see you next week. Brought to you by The Grape, Ventura County's premier jazz venue and cocktail lounge, located at 2733 East Main Street in Ventura. For menu and music schedule, visit them online at thegrape.club. This has been a Rough Edge Studios production.